Why don't you lead us off this time? How about that?
Oh gosh, you're putting me on the spot. I'm embarrassed. Okay. Hi, welcome to Your Mom with Ashley Adams, Pac-12 extraordinaire reporter. And
wait,
Lisa
hold on.
McCaffrey.
Do you don't know my last name, do you?
Adamson.
Oh, okay.
I just all of a sudden had a blank. I couldn't pronounce it correctly.
Best intro. Keep going. I didn't mean to cut in. Keep going.
Okay. And Lisa McCaffrey, mom of 4 boys. Yeah, I went to a wedding this weekend and I wrote the groom and bride. I wrote them a check and a beautiful card, spelled their new last name completely wrong.
That's so sweet of you.
Welcome to Your Mom. Your Mom Podcast. Your Mom's Podcast.
This isn't any podcast. This is your mother's podcast.
My Mom's Podcast.
Nah, dude, she's your mom.
With Ashley Addison and Lisa McCaffrey.
Your mom is a podcast.
Shut up, dude.
I'm really proud of you for that introduction. I think that you just nailed that one out of the park. I put you on the spot and said, why don't you welcome us into the podcast? And I think you nailed it.
I'll get better.
Ashley Adams is me. Pac-12
Ashley Adamson.
extraordinaire. I like that. Yes, I have 2 small children, 5 and 3.
Yep.
And you have 4 sons, Lisa.
Goodness.
All of them play and coach football.
20s. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. And they're in their 20s. And I've been through the works, the ringer, up, down, left, and right. And here we are talking about moms. Best people on the planet.
Welcome to your mom. First things first, though, and we've got lots to talk about, but I need to give you a little bit of credit because my friend Cassie, who I've talked about on this podcast, one of my dearest friends, she texted me in the middle of the night on Friday, and her youngest, she's got 2 boys. Her youngest has had croup. Oh, and she said, so I guess it's going around. She said, do you have any suggestions? And after she heard our episode a couple weeks ago, and your amazing medical advice about sticking your kid's head in a freezer, she just said, did anything else additionally work? Because I tried that, and he's still having trouble breathing. But then the follow-up is that she reached out to the doctor, and that was the doctor's advice.
Okay.
Try sticking your kid's head. So I just want to say,
you know what,
Ashley, I kind of thought you were full of shit, and turns out you are a medical expert. So
Ashley, I've been telling you since day 1 install, you have to listen to me. I'm correct. I know these things, but you have to mix it. You have to put them in steam and then do the fridge.
Right. I did tell Cassie that.
Right.
So I hope her little man is doing better.
Me too.
But yeah,
what's his name? Let's give him a shout out.
Jonas.
I hope
his name is
better.
Jonas, and
so
he is the cutest little. I'm trying to do an arranged marriage for Cora and Jonas, so I'm going to put that out in the world.
Okay,
and see if it works. If you say it on a podcast, it comes to fruition. You were at a wedding this weekend. Speaking of which,
beautiful.
An arranged marriage or no?
No, not an arranged marriage. No, it wasn't like Ed and I who got together to have 4 white fast
to breed
kids.
Fast football players.
As we've been accused, like Kate and Jen have been accused. Yes. Yeah. No, it was actually, I think it was for love. I don't know. There was some love there eventually, whatever.
It was a 7-layer cookie, but that's another episode.
That's a whole nother story. No, it was oh my gosh, it was the most beautiful wedding in Colorado, just the most magical night. And you could just feel the love. It was awesome. I danced way too much. I am so sore from that wedding. If you were here, you would die because my whole house smells like Bengay, which I'm officially old because when I was younger, they'd be like, oh, rub Bengay on it. And I'm like, that's disgusting. I would never use that. Now I'm old and I like it. It soothes my neck.
You went to a wedding and danced so hard that you have been using Bengay on it. Like what is it? Hamstrings or quads? Or
it's my neck from doing the neck twist. And then I walked in.
What kind of dancing were you like? What kind of dancing do you do?
Honest to God, I don't even know. I'm mortified. Somebody posted a thing of me. I'm mortified, and I went solo without it. But
you know what? Sometimes going to a wedding solo is fun though.
It actually was fun. The first half of the wedding, of course, during the Lord's Prayer, the speeches, the first dances, I have my phone propped up on my wine glass. I'm watching Rice play Louisiana.
And they won, by the way. And Luke had a touchdown.
Such a nice win. Thanks, Ashley. No, it was such a beautiful win. They needed that. Really, it's just a great win for that team. So anyway, it was exciting. But yes, during the Lord's Prayer, I belted out a bad word, mortified because our quarterback got sacked really hard. And of course, and then the people next to me who I didn't know, come to find out their daughter won The Voice Are you kidding me? I'm like, and then I'm arranging the marriage with their daughter and Luke. I'm like, wait a minute, are you kidding me?
You're like, he just scored 2 touchdowns. Let me show you.
I did. I go, look, he scored. Maybe we should. And they're like, well, she has a boyfriend. I'm like, so what?
That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, but then I yelled the F word, so I'm not doing him any favors.
You yelled the F word during the Lord's Prayer.
They had this. Oh my gosh, this priest magically he came in from
they flew him in from
Boston. Thank you. I need help. I need to go find and apologize to that man. But everybody at our table heard. They all kind of were startled. So I'm a horrible person. That's what I learned this weekend. Yep. No, and I have an affinity.
You didn't just
for
learn
pyramids.
that this weekend. You didn't just learn that this weekend.
No, yeah, I've kind of known all along.
Oh,
so. Anyway,
man.
your mom.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time at the wedding, though. Most importantly, and Luke won. Which is great. And the Bears won.
Yes. And they won too. They won. Yes. So those 2-1, Panthers didn't. But wait, going back to Luke's game, my beautiful 85-year-old mother
Big
went
Mama
to support Luke. Big Mama went by herself to support Luke, and he balled out just for her. So that was really cool. She did the whole trip by herself, got the Ubers, whatnot, walked to the game. Just, oh my gosh, just so she had a blast. It was
how old is she?
amazing.
Say one more time how old Big Mama is.
She'll be 85 November 3rd.
Okay. I met Betty when we were in Colorado over the summer, and we did an interview with her. That one is coming up. We'll have that one for our listeners later. But your mom is incredible, obviously. Like you're incredible. So no doubt that your mom is too. But the fact that she, like, meeting her, and she's a young 85. I mean, she's young to be.
To the fact she can do that's pretty
amazing. But the fact that she can do that is amazing.
Right.
I give her a lot of credit. Good for her. And I'm glad that Luke showed up for her. So now she just needs to go to all of his games. Did you tell her that?
Can she go to every single game? You
love watching games with her. You said the other week that you love watching games with her. Can I tell you what I did last night?
Yes, I want to hear every detail. I kind of know, but go.
So I went to see Bonnie Raitt at the Greek in Berkeley with my mom. It was her birthday present that I got her over the summer. And
love it.
I could do a whole podcast on that show last night. Like my obsession with Bonnie Raitt runs so deep.
Have you ever karaoke'd Bonnie Raitt?
Wait. Did you really? Are you really asking me that? Because that's one of the things
I'm really asking. I'm right here asking you that.
All
yes.
right, here's the deal.
Go.
So it's hard to explain my obsession with Bonnie, but I think like her music defined my childhood in both good ways and bad. So Angel from Montgomery is my favorite song of all time.
Okay.
I sing it to my kids at night.
Cute.
I perform it at any time I can at a karaoke bar.
No
much
way.
to everyone's dismay, because it's not a great karaoke song. Like, it's not a traditionally great karaoke song, but it really, if you bring the soul to it, like, I think if you have the right audience, I've never found the right audience at a karaoke bar.
Do you think it's the audience, or do you think it's you?
Well, I think it's them. It's
you just if you've not hit with the audience.
I just think that I haven't. I think I'm not going to the right karaoke bars. I'm not going to the right karaoke bars.
Yeah,
so
that's the problem. It's not your singing.
It's not my singing.
You're
it's
not
the
bringing the
song.
soul. It's the freaking audience. Yeah, step up. You need
their energy's off.
You need Madison Square Gardens. That's what you need.
No, but her songs like just take you back. My mom, she had Bonnie Raitt on all the time when we were growing up. It's the first concert we ever went to. It was full circle. She took me to, when I was in 7th grade, she took me to Red Rocks. And
cool.
Bonnie Raitt performed at Red Rocks, which is amazing. I fell asleep because I was, 11 or 12 and just didn't. It was bad.
You fell asleep at Red Rocks watching
I laid down on the cement and fell asleep. Yeah. I was kind of a narcoleptic when I was younger. Like, no one would go to movies with me. Like, I just fell asleep all the time. I don't think I was getting enough sleep.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, sounds like it.
But we would just, how there are songs, and I don't know if you have any music like this growing up, but just they take you to a place in time. Like my older brother Alex and I, if we're together, and the song "I Can't Make You Love Me," it's that really sad one about,
of course,
like relationships that don't work out.
Like I sing it to Ed every time I talk to him on the phone now. Yeah, it's like our theme. That was our wedding song. We went down the aisle to that song, but.
This song, and also for our listeners who maybe don't know that song, like go listen to it right now because it is beautiful and it is so sad. And anyone who has been through a breakup, which is pretty much everybody, like you. And she said it last night before she performed it. She said, "This is for all the people who know that they're gonna have to leave the person that they're with, like that pain." And it is amazing.
That's our wedding song.
That's why it's your wedding song. It's a perfect wedding song.
A good way to start off a marriage. It's a great
way. Yeah. Because you got to set the bar low.
Who did she write that for? I love learning the story.
I should look that up because I'm sure. And she was married for 9 years.
Okay.
But what was interesting is that she never had kids. Huh. And my mom said that last night. I looked at my mom. I said, does she could we get Bonnie Raitt on? Like, is she a mom or what's the, and she said, no, she never had kids and she's been really intentional about it. And I was looking it up this morning and like, why has she talked about it? And there was an interview she did with the Times, like back in the 90s, where she just said that, it's like such a massive commitment to raise children and how she instead wanted to like devote all of her time and her energy and resources to the causes that are near and dear to her heart. So like I said, she was married 8 years to an actor. She's no longer married, but she just said like, my job is to, I think her quote was like, my job is to mother the causes that I'm involved in. And it's so hard for me to say no that even though I think about all the people that I'm saying no to, and just, I want to be able to give myself to the causes that I believe in. And it's a really selfless, I mean, I think some people, you look at it and it's like, oh my gosh, having kids is amazing. But I think that intentionality, I was just so struck.
It reminds me, and I don't know that like Oprah never had kids, neither did Dolly Parton. And they're both, incredibly committed to like really good causes. So maybe,
helping you think of all the people that they helped because they had more bandwidth and time and that it was an intentional choice. And I think I will just say like the choice to become a parent or not to become a parent. And I have a lot of friends who I've talked about this with, right? Who are not sure if they want to become parents or they don't feel the draw to become a mom. Like I always knew that I wanted to be a mom, but I don't think everybody feels that way. And I
don't think they do either. The older I've gotten, the more people I've met that haven't.
And I respect that because here's the thing, like you got to choose. Right. It's like expected, right? That everybody you're going to be a parent. Like, you grow up and you're going to be a mom and that's the way that it sort of unfolds. But it's not that way. And I think I don't know. I respect the hell out of how, any decisions that people make. 'Cause everybody gets to make their own decisions for their own lives. And you think about the emotional roller coaster, like the financial fears and worries, and then all the fears that are attached to having kids, because you're just like walking around with your heart outside of your body as soon as you have kids.
Right.
That I don't know. I think I respect and understand why people don't want to. I always say though, and I told my friend this who I talked, she's not sure if she wants to have kids. And I said, the one thing I wish is that I wish you could try it on. I wish you could try parenthood out before you made the decision, because you can't explain it. Like from the outside, why would anyone become a parent, Lisa? Like, honestly.
I know. I don't know. Yeah. I felt a need deep inside of me that, okay, yes, I think this is the path I would definitely am going to take. I know. I wanted to be a parent. I'll be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't
like
a
very young age.
Or I
you knew
got
you
very
to?
young and I knew I wanted to be. Yeah. But
I think it's so interesting because, well, and this is what I always say too. And I've told Chris, my husband, this, so I don't think this will, I'm hoping he's not hearing this for the first time. But you think that you think you understand love. You think you love all of these people so deeply in your life, and you do. You love your family, you love your spouse, you love your partner, you love your friends. And then you have a baby or you adopt a baby and you hold that little blob in your arms for the first time. And like, I get emotional even just like thinking about it. Your heart, my heart, at least for me, I can speak. It felt something it has never felt before. Like when I held Collins for the first time, it was, and same thing with Cora. And I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe by the time you have 4, it gets old. You're like, okay, here you go.
No, I'd love to say something sarcastic
like, do you remember those moments?
No, every one of them, it was just.
Your heart explodes.
Yeah,
it explodes.
You do. And you become like especially the first one, you go from being this like selfish person in a way, it's all about me. And then all of a sudden you have a baby and you're like, you don't even think about yourself. It's all about them. Yeah, it is true. All about your kids then. And it's wonderful. Like you said, messy. It can be ugly, but it's the most amazing thing but I also get people not wanting to do it because it's a lot. It's your whole life changes.
Nothing is ever the same.
Nothing's the same. And you can tell people that. You can tell, new moms that pregnant people, and they don't get it until they have one.
Well, and I also think, and you talk about it, and I've had a lot of friends who have dealt with postpartum depression, and that is a very real thing. So all the new moms out there who are feeling like, hey, I love my kid, but I'm also not. I remember when I got home with Collins, my oldest from the hospital, and just having that feeling of like looking around going, oh my God, nothing is ever going to be the same. And again, would the love that you feel is so powerful, but there is also that sense of just nothing is about you, because for so long, like you just give and give and give and give and give and give and give, and they take and take and take and take and take and take and take.
Right.
And there are moments that you get back, but like it takes a long time before there's that feeling of like, oh, I'm literally just going to give everything to you, and you are just going to take it.
I remember the first 3 months of pretty much each of the kids just feeling completely trapped. Like I'll never leave the house. And I didn't want anybody to watch them. I'm the only one that can do this. I just had that weird feeling, and I know that's messed up. It's hormones and whatnot. But I remember about 3 months for all of them when they smiled for the first time. They smiled at you. And that's when I'm like, that's when I felt like the first glimmer of like, okay, I get this. This is so worth it. All that, the breastfeeding, the mastitis and everything. Finally, I'm getting a little. And then from there, it's just, each little thing is the biggest deal ever.
It is. And the joy that you get, right? And you talk about mastitis. Oof.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh, my nipples just started to hurt.
Breastfeeding. That. We should do a whole friggin' series on breastfeeding.
Or not. I get whatever.
Oh my God. That was when you truly feel like you are not yourself. Like I remember having this, it was back from, I think with Cora, I can't remember, it was one of them, but it was my first week back. It must've been Cora. And I was on the road at Colorado. It was the Colorado-Nebraska game in 2019. Oh, wow. And it was 1,000,000 degrees. And it was our first big road show. And I'm in the bathroom, like the public bathroom, not even like there was no, because we were in the public terrace. I'm in the public bathroom wearing a dress, sweating bullets, like just sweating bullets. I have my iPad out because I'm trying to watch the game because we have to talk about it at halftime. So I have my iPad out, I'm watching it, and I'm pumping in the stall of this like public bathroom, and just I'm dripping sweat. I've got there's milk everywhere. It was one of those moments that I just like looked around and I'm like started laughing. I said, pictured Colleen was our producer at the time, one of my dear friends. Our producer of the show was a woman, and I sent her a picture of like the pump stuff and where, and I'm like, dude,
send her the picture that I need a raise.
And she was like, God, I love you so much. But it was, and that's when it goes back to like having women who you work with and support you, and having like those friends who just, I wouldn't have sent that to my male producer. I don't think I probably would have had to go to HR or something, but it was one of those things that I just was like, dude, I am in this. And then finally you pull back and you're like, do I need to, you have all this guilt about all these different things. And I remember thinking, I'm going to just breastfeed for as long as I can and as long, whatever. But then all of a sudden when you feel like you're ready to stop, I mean, I was ready to stop very early on, but it's hard to, because you have all of these
such an
pressures
attachment
and emotions. Yeah. Right. So anyway, not to sidetrack that, but I do want to say it is an emotional roller coaster, right? Like being,
my gosh, it is. Last night I was flipping through channels trying to go to sleep. And have you ever seen the movie Parenthood, 1989?
Yes.
Steve Martin.
Movie.
You remember the grandma at the end talking about life's a roller coaster?
Yes.
You can get on the merry-go-round, but that just goes around and around. The roller coaster is way more fun. That's motherhood. The roller coaster, the ups and the downs, the in-betweens at 100%. And that just depicted it so wonderfully.
That is the perfect analogy.
Wow. Yeah. And it never stops. I mean, even my 28-year-old, oh my gosh, it never ends. It changes a little, but it's every day. It's like, that's all, you still to this day, I'm 53, and that's all I think about. Oh, I count to 4. Where is each person? This is so dorky. I wake up and I check the weather of where every kid is. Oh, come on. I need to get a life.
That is, no, that's sweet. And then are you wearing your rain boots today, Christian?
Yeah. Like, hey, bring an umbrella. No, I don't do that.
Okay. Last thing on like the emotional, I will just say my friend Mike had this perfect, and this just popped in my head when you talked about the merry-go-round versus roller coaster analogy. He had, this is a friend of ours, and he said that there was some college guys that he was hanging out with many years ago after he had a kid. And they were like, why? Like, why do people have kids? Because everyone I know who has a kid is exhausted, stressed out,
complaining,
they can't do anything. They're complaining. Like they just what can you tell me why? And my friend Mike looks at me and said, well, why do you do drugs? And the guys were kind of like, well, what? Wait, what? Like, what? And he goes, okay, just think about this. Like, hear me out on this analogy. Kids are like drugs. The lows are so low. Like after after you feel horrible, or maybe it's drinking, whatever it may be, whatever vice you have. But the highs, like when it's good and you're feeling good, and he's like, and that is it with having kids. Like, yes, the lows are low, but then there's a moment, or they smile at you, or they connect with you, or you watch them do something for the first time. And that high, that feeling, that serotonin that you get from seeing that, it carries you through, and you do it all over again. Like, it's why our species has survived, I guess.
Absolutely. Ashley, would you rather live a life just completely like even and flat, 50-50 all the time?
Yeah.
Or the 100 to 0? Like you ask people that, and people have different reactions.
Totally. And I think, really again, that goes back to like, it's your choice, right? Like, I think it is, you shouldn't just assume that everybody wants to have kids, because I think a lot of people, and rightfully so don't, because
you can get those highs and lows from not having kids as well.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, there's
absolutely
some great drugs we can recommend.
But yeah. Where's Marilyn?
Yeah, we need Marilyn to come back. But you talk about the emotional roller coaster. You never know what is right around the corner. Like I dropped Cora, my 3-year-old, off this morning. She's super independent, has never had. She had like a death grip on me. Like she just would not let go. And I'm like trying to peel her off and hand her to the teacher. And it's so sad. And she's waving at me out the window and crying and just like, come back.
And that's not like her, huh?
It's not like her at all. And so I was so disoriented. I went out to where my car was parked. I got in the wrong car.
No. Oh, like
literally
like the grandmother.
It took me like a minute.
Remember the grandmother in Parenthood? And he's like, if she's so smart, why is she in the neighbor's car?
Yeah,
that's you.
That was me. And I'm like, and it took me a minute. And I'm like,
wait a minute.
This is not. And then I like get out and I really confused the dad who was, sorry to the dad who was dropping off his kid, who was like this crazy
You're in my car.
lady just was in my car and was about to drive
a car
that had, it didn't even look like my car. Like it wasn't even close to my car. But anyway, that just goes to show like there's some emotional things that happen and you never know when it's going to be a good day and when it's going to be a bad day.
Right.
How's Christian doing, by the way? Speaking of which.
Oh, he's good. He's good. He's good.
Do you talk to him after games?
Yes. Yeah. We usually text right after on the away games, and then when he gets in his car after he gets back home, we talk him off the ledge, and then he moves on. So no, he's good. He's good. I mean, it's only 2 games, and they have a big game this weekend that I just figured out I'm going to go to. So, obviously because it's home, but, no, he's still passionate. He's still excited. And he still thinks this team is just, they can do it. But
it was so close again.
So close. That's the problem. They're so close. So it's heartbreaking. That's what's, I think it's, I hate saying it, but you almost like would it be better if they got killed or they blew somebody out? I'm like,
no, those close, excruciating losses are, well, and then you know this from watching the hundreds and hundreds of games of football that you've watched, and it's true with any sports, but in particular football, like the narrative and the feeling around a team and a coach and all of that, like is dependent upon 1 or 2 things breaking a certain way in any given game. I mean, I was at UCLA
one
this
penalty.
Weekend.
Oh yes, okay.
They won on UCLA beat South Alabama. And there were a lot of fans who they were trailing pretty much the whole game, but they had a game-winning drive right at the end, kicked a field goal. The kid who kicked the field goal, he was 4 for 4 from field goals. He was just put on scholarship oh my gosh, maybe a month ago. And he had missed one earlier in the season that I think really crushed him. And so he went 4 for 4, hit the game-winning field goal. And it went from being like, oh my God, the sky is going to be falling if UCLA loses this game, and fans are going to start talking about Chip Kelly, blah, blah, blah. But then instead they won and they're on to the next week and we're headed to
Ashley. That's my life. That's
people
exactly.
Don't know, people on the outside don't know it.
Right. And then you let your mind wander. You're like, wow, if we win this would be the greatest because of XYZ. And then, but then they go behind and they're losing. And oh my gosh, it's so hard. It's literally a roller coaster every game.
Yes.
Just like having kids.
It's a microcosm of life.
And then you get vested in each kid. Like you get to know, I know all of Luke's friends on the team and you just want them to do so well.
That's why you're screaming F-bombs during the Lord's Prayer because you're worried about his quarterback.
Gosh, totally. I love him. TJ, that's his roommate too. Oh, he's the man. So anyway, there's a lot of emotions involved in that as well.
It's hard. It's
life,
hard.
Poor Cora. She's just, what do you think she's doing right now?
She's probably sobbing, crying.
Just missing her mom.
Just totally. I'm sure she hasn't had a single ounce of fun. I bet she's probably going to go on a hunger strike.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm like, do you want to sit down and have a second breakfast? Like, here, let's get your lunch. And she was just like, yeah, it's hard, but hey, she'll survive. Yeah. And I do think too, like this is one thing that I feel very strongly about. That is one of the hardest, and it's one of the best books I've read. I can't know if I've talked about it on the podcast yet, but my favorite parenting book is called. I'll tell you what it's called in one second.
No.
I need some of that lion's mane. Blessings of a Skinned Knee. Blessings of a Skinned Knee is the name of the book.
Okay, never heard of it. I love it.
It is excellent. And it's this woman, and a lot of it's about the teachings based on like the Jewish, kind of like Jewish tradition of raising kids. So it's really interesting. And one of the things that the author talks about a lot is the need for kids to, like for parents to allow their kids to screw up and to feel sad and to experience heartbreak and all of those things that you want to protect your kids from.
Yep.
But you just know that they're going to have to go through it. It's the only way they learn. And it's so hard because you're like, you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to do this, but like your heart's going to get broken. You are going to be left out.
You're going to mess up. You're going to have
Collins was getting pushed around by some kid at his soccer practice last week. And I just look over and he's like sitting behind the goal, just crying.
No.
And I go over there and I'm like, bud, what happened? And he's like, so-and-so pushed me and told me he didn't like me. And like my initial instinct was to go over there and be like, hey, get over here, you little shit.
The
like,
snowplow or the Zamboni mom. That's
and
what
I'm
they
like,
call them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, okay, what do you want? And I actually didn't really know what to do. I'm curious. I'd actually be curious for you, like when people are mean, and I guess it depends on the age and the situation, but when someone mistreats your kid, how do you react to that? Because essentially what I did was I just said, if you want to talk to him about it afterwards, go ahead. Yeah. But I'm not, obviously I'm not going to say anything.
Right.
And he was fine, and people, but the thing is, people are going to be mean to him all the time when I'm not around.
Right.
So he doesn't need me to fix his problems.
To micromanage. Exactly.
Yeah,
no, and he needs to learn how to manage
hard.
it.
It's hard to watch people mistreat your kids.
I remember Max one time, the oldest, was left out. He was the only boy not invited to some kid's birthday party. And oh my gosh, he got in the car and he's the type, he holds it in. He doesn't want to show emotion. He doesn't want to show that he's sad. And I had found out what happened and oh my gosh, I had a pit in my stomach. It's the oldest kid, first time something like this happening. And I'm sick. Oh my gosh, I'm sick to my stomach. So what we did is I ended up I knew he was upset about it. I didn't want to draw attention to it because he was about to cry. And we went and we ended up getting ice cream. And I think I took him to some other friends outside of a different school to kind of my goal in that. I thought, you know what, it'll be good for him to realize that not everything revolves around this school, that there's a big world out there. Right. And he happened to have some basketball friends that he had played with forever. And so I scrounged some of them up and he ended up playing with them and completely forgot about it and had a great night. That was one thing I remember thinking I did. You know what? I think that was a good job. And then you realize it's a big world. So someone hurt your feelings right here. You know what? Thank you, next. Ariana Grande, thank you, next, move on, and whatever. And then they end up being friends later on.
Right. And that's the thing, because kids are jerks and like,
and then the next minute, especially boys. One thing I've learned is in general, this is such a generalization, but girls hold grudges. They don't forget. Boys, oh my gosh, she'll come home to vent like, oh, he was mean, he did this. And the next day they're like best friends playing on the playground.
Someone said to me with raising boys.
I still remember. I know that boy that left him out.
I screw him. I hope he's listening to this podcast.
And Dylan dated his sister later on, but that's a whole nother story.
It's the best revenge.
Well,
but someone said to me one time, having boys is like physical warfare and having girls, it's like psychological warfare. Yep. Which it's true because I think there's definitely some elements of truth to that, and it's a longer path. Girls are meaner, especially I think younger, because boys, they're mean and they like fight and then
they get over it.
They're fine.
I've learned a lot from raising boys in that sense. Like I can go on a run and kind of forget whatever issue I'm having, or I'm mad at somebody, or else like they do talk it out.
Right. So that one time when you slapped me and then you were just like totally over it, like now I understand.
I was fine, but you were being a bitch. I mean, what do you want me to do?
Yeah. And then I cried for 3 days.
Yeah. Sorry, but don't be a bitch. Now, then you learned and now you won't do that anymore. I'm kidding. I've never slapped Ashley for the record.
No.
I've wanted to.
But I was going to say you should. If you've ever wanted to, you definitely
But who hasn't wanted to? Where's Cora?
Amen to that. Oh my God. Okay. Well, here's the thing.
Yes.
I hear you've got a party to go to.
Got a little birthday party. Yes. I was joking.
You are like the socialite. I love on a Monday, you're going to a party.
I know. No, it's an impromptu birthday party. Sum up from the wedding. It's called Sum Up. We do that. After a big party, we'll all get together and do a sum up. It's the best.
Love that.
Fun. Like, oh my gosh, can you believe she said that? Or he said that? Or they did that? They did that. It's so good. And this was a huge wedding. So there's so much drama. Not good drama though. Nothing. I hate saying drama because it sounds negative.
But just like there's a lot to like, you need to
take in.
You need to
absorb. Yeah. Debrief. Exactly.
What a great idea.
So fun. Yeah.
Oh my God. Good, okay. That's awesome. Well, hey, here's the deal. We are on YouTube now. So hopefully the plan is you're going to be able to go watch this episode if you want. And I will tell you should go watch it because TikTok. Lisa is wearing the most beautiful outfit. Like you look fantastic.
Look, I'm like
show
mature.
Me that blazer.
Mature.
You do. You look... For someone who's going to go meet up with some ladies and like talk shit about what happened at a wedding, you look really professional.
Well, these ladies dress up. I'm like, I look normal for them. They dress so nicely, and I can't compete. But I do have a nice jacket that I just bought. So thank you, Veronica Beard. Shout out to Veronica Beard.
Shout out Veronica Beard, our future sponsor with Hello
Feel
Fresh.
free to sponsor us because just like mature, like nice on the go clothes. Ashley, you should try to get Veronica Beard for your weekends. You're on air. You're hot. By the way, your outfit again, your salmon pants. I saw the picture.
Thank you.
You look like $1 million.
Thank you.
I'm shocked that stadium wasn't full just to check out your pants.
Well, I appreciate
it. Was gold.
I was just trying to do my part. Those salmon pants. I appreciate you. And your orange dress was fantastic too.
I looked like a caution. I looked like a caution cone at the wedding. That was my big joke. So.
Like a hot ass caution cone.
Yeah, like look out.
I got to say, we sent out our first newsletter, and I have heard from so many people who I guess didn't know we were doing this podcast. So if this is your first foray into our show, like welcome. We love you. We're so excited to have you. Like I said, we're on YouTube now.
Feel free to call and write in why you want to punch Ashley.
Yeah, that would be. We should do a whole show on that. We'll do like a live listener feedback next week. I am so pumped.
Yes.
Martha Thomas, Solomon Thomas, who played at Stanford.
Literally one of my favorite people in the world.
He's now at the Jets.
So I just really quick, I bonded with, she was the first woman I bonded with when Christian was looking at colleges. We went out for our official visit together. We spent so many games together. I love her. I love her family, and I can't wait to talk to her. She's phenomenal. You're gonna love her.
And we should mention she's amazing, and Solomon is incredible, and they have been through something as a family that no one ever wants to go through or can even imagine going through.
But I just to watch them turn it into a positive is so inspirational, and I just love them. That's it.
So we're going to talk about, because this is Suicide Prevention Month, and so she was saying we're really busy this month because we've got all these different things, and they've started a foundation, and
the defensive line. It's called the defensive line. So go donate. Go.
And we'll go in. We'll get into that next week. But I just do not miss that. I'm so excited to talk to her, and she's amazing, and Solomon is one of the best. I mean, I remember the first time I met him, I was just like, God, that's a kid. Honestly, you like meet him, you're like, that's somebody you want your kid to marry. Like
100%. And my kid was one of his best friends. I was so proud of that because he's amazing. Love him.
The last thing that I'm gonna leave with is that when I was at the Bonnie Raitt concert with my mom last night, which I love you, Mom. I had so much fun. Go spend time with your mom.
Yeah.
That if your mom is still around and you can. What I'm telling you right now is go plan like a lunch or a whatever. It doesn't need to be anything.
Even a phone call.
Even a phone call.
Heck, a text.
It's alone time with your mom, because I realized I didn't have our kids like whenever we're together.
Right.
There's so much going on, but I got to just sit and chat with her, and she is really funny. And I just want to tell you, Mom, because I never answered this last night, but she looked at me at one point in the concert and she goes, "Oh, do you smell that skunk?"
No.
And it's so bad. It smells. Oh, Ashley, that's so weird. It smells just like the skunk at my house who comes out at night. Like, it's just so.
Who are her neighbors?
Yeah. And I'm like, so Mom, here's the deal. That's pot, Mom. That's what we call pot. It's not skunk. It's pot. I mean, it's skunk marijuana, I guess.
I think your mom is incredibly intelligent, super smart, and really savvy, and she just gets people.
She does. And she thinks you're funnier than I am. So
that's what you told me last
night about that. Yeah, of course.
I love
Lisa, I love you. You did such a good job on the intro. Do you want to close out the podcast and say goodbye to everyone? Because you just nailed the intro. I want you to be able to have like a full circle moment.
Bye. Thank you. We are signing out from your mom, Ashley Adamson and Lisa McCaffrey. Thank you guys so much for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode with Martha Thomas. Let's go.
Okay, so bonus material. This is our first bonus material. TJ, our amazing producer, Lisa has signed off, but TJ popped on, and you've got some information, TJ, on some Bonnie Raitt. You have some the Bonnie Raitt info that we didn't know.
Yes.
What do you got for me? Tell me what.
So, okay. So now this is it's smoothradio.com that got its stuff from Wikipedia. So
you don't need to quote any sources.
We just need to
should be quoted.
We just need to give a little background there. But so she was asking like why Bonnie Raitt wrote the song, stuff like that. So the writers,
I Can't Make You Love Me is the one we're talking about.
Sorry, I Can't Make You Love You. Let me be clear. The writers, from what I found, are Mike Reed and Alan Shamblin, and the story behind how this song came about was when Reed read an article about a man who got arrested for getting drunk and shooting at his girlfriend's car, and then in court, the judge asked if he'd learned anything. To which the guy replied, "I learned, Your Honor, that you can't make a woman love you if she don't." And that is where the song came from, which is just amazing to me.
And I hope I guess I don't hope that he got off, but I hope that was such a poignant moment. And the judge probably for a second was like, you know what, you're right. You are 100%. You can't make someone love you if they don't.
That's true. Or someone in the court was like, that's a good song lyric. That might be a song one day. And then boom.
I wonder if you got any royalties is the real question.
I'm going to go with probably not.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to do some more Wikipedia searching because you've only got like the scratching the surface on this.
Yes,
story.
and another added note is that the song was so sad that Bonnie Raitt only recorded it one time. She recorded it once, and when they tried to do it again, she said it's just not going to happen. She was like, I can't bring up that emotion again, so we're only going to do it one time.
It is. I mean, and I saw it performed live last night, and I'm telling you, and it's amazing that they only ever recorded it once. It's real. And I think everybody who listens to it, which is why I was laughing when we stopped and you popped on and you were swaying back and forth. Like, I don't know what the rights, deal is on these podcasts, but like, can we trail out a little bit with just a little bit of Bonnie?
I think we might be able to sleep out of there real quick.
7 seconds. Enjoy Bonnie Raitt. TJ, thank you for educating us. I think we should do this more you come on the end and say, hey, for all this stuff that you guys just threw up against the wall, like, let me give you some real facts. I think that would probably be good for our listeners.
Now,
thanks for
before
listening.
we go,
Ash,
before we go, I got a question for you. And one other question is, okay, so which time made you more sad when you heard it? The first time you heard it, or when you just heard it live? Which one hit you more?
Here's the thing, and I didn't really get into this in the episode because I don't know, I didn't want to make it like a sob story about childhood, but that song is so poignant to me because, my mom, and I've talked about this, my mom and dad got divorced when we were young, and so we lived with my mom in Michigan, and Sunday nights I just remember that song, her playing that song, and we'd be doing chores, like I'd be dusting the table, and she'd have that song on, and like we'd all three of us, my older brother, my mom, and I, we'd all just be like crying. Like, it was so sad. And that song brings up so many emotions. And now I have plenty of wonderful Bonnie Raitt memories, and my mom has great taste in music, and like there's plenty of upbeat and exciting and happy songs that I have a lot of those good memories. But every time I hear that song, and my brother and I say, every time it comes on, I'm like, oh God, I just want to like curl up in a ball and like just have a good cry. And so last night when she played it, my mom and I were both sobbing, crying, like tears. I mean, everyone was, there's just like weed in the air. Everyone's so high and everyone's just sobbing, crying. Because again, there is every now and then a song that I think just resonates with everyone. And probably whether everyone's been on one side of it, where you're in a relationship that you can't make them love you one way or the other. Either you're the one that's not loved or you're the one that's not doing the loving. And I think probably that is why it is so poignant, and just the melody of it. So
that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. Should we get into your relationships? Like, should we talk about what?
I think that's for a future episode. Okay. I think I gotta prepare myself. I just
poured my heart out.
See,
and then TJ's like, "Thank you, next."
The fact that we had a Bonnie Raitt and Ariana Grande reference in the same podcast, that might be a first in podcast history.
I'd say so. We have a lot of range here on Your Mom podcast. I will say that. This is about me not letting Lisa actually say goodbye. She had to sign off to go on her lunch, and I'm like, okay, how can I have the last word? So obvious. I'm so obvious. Bye, everybody.